Hugh, listen. I love you, okay? I love that you can only cook cold vinegar chicken. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to say the simplest sentence. I love the way you lift your right eyebrow after saying something witty or when you look at me like I'm nuts. I love that after I spend the night with you, your hair gel is smeared all over my pillow. And it is not because I'm lonely, and it's not because we are near the end of the third act. I came to this train station tonight because when Juliet Capulet makes a plan for you to run away with Hugh Grant, you want to run away with Hugh Grant as fast as possible.
Thank you so much, Max. Welcome to the True North podcast. We started a little bit differently today because I'm sitting here with my dear friend and wonderful Swedish actor and producer, Maximilian Johnsson. Max, thank you for coming today and thank you for being part of True North podcast. Would you tell me a little bit about what you just read?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Petra. I'm very happy that we finally made this happen.
I know. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. So what I read was a little excerpt from a play called A Man Called Paris, which is an original play written by Hannah Ray that I am currently producing at the Tank. Paris is his character in Romeo and Juliet who is summoned to Verona to marry Juliet. They've never met before. He never seems too excited. He's in the play for maybe 2 scenes and then Romeo kills him, which is a very unfair fate because he really doesn't know what's going on like at all. So my good friend and the writer of this play, Hannah Ray, she took that character and then she made it, like the play follows the structure of Romeo and Juliet, but definitely not the script or any of the lines. It's a super, super like queer parody, the filthiest thing you'll ever read probably. And I don't know, just very whimsical, very fun.
I had the privilege of seeing it and it is so good. We're going to talk a lot about it a little bit later on.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, Hugh Grant is somehow involved.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
And I was explicitly told not to share that information.
Well, it kind of goes with the nature of the play that you just did it anyway.
Exactly.
So I love that.
Punk lifestyle.
Welcome to the True North podcast. My name is Petra. I am your host as well as the founder of Nordic Artists of New York, a community of Nordic and Baltic artists and creative visionaries in New York City. In this podcast, I get to have candid human conversations with the members of our community, discovering untold stories behind their art and creative vision, their life-changing journeys across the Atlantic, and how they stay connected to their northern roots in the concrete jungle. Are you ready? Let's go!
To those of our listeners who don't yet know you, Max, I'm going to tell them just a little bit about you, and then I'm going to make you and let you tell your story. Maximilian Johnsson is an actor and theatre maker originally from Stockholm, Sweden. He graduated from Stella Adler Studio of Acting in 2022 and is the founder of theatre production company Kulturkanonen The Canon. Recent producing credits include the world premiere of A Man Called Paris 2025, which we just mentioned, Drunk Macbeth 2025, Drunk Much Ado About Nothing 2025, Drunk Romeo and Juliet 2025, and Drunk 12th Night 2025. Recent acting credits include Tier 5's 12th Night 2026, Pippi Longstocking in New York this month 2026, Constantine in The Seagull the Musical 2024, A Christmas Carol Off-Broadway 2024 and 2023, and The Little Mermaid the Musical Off-Broadway 2022, amongst many other wonderful productions. Again, welcome to the True North podcast, Max. We've been waiting for a while to talk to each other because we weirdly share a lot of common ground, even though we are kind of in different fields. But I would love to start how I start with everybody on this podcast, which is that I would love to just have you tell your story in a nutshell. Where are you from? How did acting and theater make their way into your life?
So yeah, I'm from Stockholm, Sweden. Bromma, more exactly, for anybody that knows.
They might.
They really do. And in Sweden, we have this thing called the Kulturskolan, or like the school of culture, I guess, which is super affordable for kids to join. You can do like painting and playing instruments or theater, like basically anything between heaven and earth that has to do with the arts. And I did more or less everything you can imagine except theater for the longest time. And then when I was like maybe 12, all of my friends were involved and they were like, come on, Max, just come on, join wine class. It's going to be fun. And I showed up and I was like, this is so fun. And I'm terrible.
Of course.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah.
And I'm a Sagittarius. So I was just like, I'm going to become the best. at this ever.
Love that.
So I was maybe 13, and then I don't know, I squandered all my studies. I didn't give a shit about those things anymore, and I don't know, focused on like auditioning for theater schools. So I ended up going to the theater at like performing arts high school, and then like a secondary education, and then working a bunch in Sweden, and then I came here, and like from when I was 14, it has basically only been theater.
That's wonderful. And I read somewhere, I did a bit of a deep dive on you.
Oh yeah.
I read somewhere that the school that you went to, the high school that you went to, was very focused on the production side of theater.
Yeah.
And it was very sort of like they didn't want their students to just learn to act and be on stage, but also build the stage, symbolically speaking, which I think sounds fantastic, first of all. And actually, I think that every art school nowadays should be orientated towards that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that and what were some practical ways of them doing that?
I mean, first of all, we did have like directing classes and like stagecraft like classes and like building, like learning how to rig the lights and like work the soundboard a little bit and stuff. But
very hands-on,
It was so hands-on and so fantastic. And I agree with you. I think everybody should be doing this because like most of us do multiple things.
That's the reality of being an artist nowadays. You have to build your own stage.
Yeah.
Regardless almost of field.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And also like just production-wise, you got to be able to create your own opportunities. No, but like the coolest thing about my performing arts high school was that during the third year, we all got to pitch our own projects. So I pitched my own play that I'd written myself, and I pitched it like to directed. And then you got to like cast your own actors and like, you know, you could see your own words put to life.
Fun.
So fun. And build the entire set. So I remember we paid, we got a full black box and like completely free hands. All of us like 16-year-olds, and we just went bananas.
Wow.
It was so much fun.
That's like the dream even now.
I've never gotten that opportunity later.
I know. I'm like, give me an empty room and just let me put my brains
go to
in
work.
there. Yeah. That sounds really, really cool.
It was fantastic.
And then I also read that then after that, when you kind of pursued acting and went into school for it, obviously, and Stella Adler, like we mentioned, and began working as an actor, and you started missing the production side of it.
Oh, yeah.
Say a little bit more about that. Why did it call you back?
I don't know. I think, of course, like the being an actor in Sweden and being an actor in the US they both have their downsides and their upsides. And I don't have to get into the Sweden side of it yet because I don't want to slander my country. National television. I'm kidding.
No, but I mean, there is good and bad in everything.
Yeah. But here I very much felt like, at least the things I have been doing in Sweden, I felt like I had a little bit more of agency. I had more like free range to make my own choices and like maybe affect the production a little bit at least. Not in the like biggest things I did, but you know, in the semi-small scale things. And when I came here, I definitely felt like there was a huge separation between the crew people and the cast people. Like I had never heard of the position as stage manager. I had no idea what a stage manager was.
Yeah.
Because that's just something. And my current stage manager, who is from India, Shreya, she had the same experience. So when I asked her to like stage manage for me, she was like, "I'll do it for you."
But what is it?
Yeah. And then we talked about it. We were like, yeah, you know, it's like making schedules and like planning the production and like, you know, keeping track of props and stuff. And we both agreed. We were like, these are just things we did as actors, you know? So I think that was a part of it that like when I started doing it professionally here, I would like to be, you know, I'd be sitting in the theater like waiting for my scene to come up, and I would see all these like stage managers and production assistants like running around, like trying to fix things. And I was like, I just want to help. I want to be part of that too. Like I want to be hands-on. I just don't want to sit here like a diva.
Such a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's super strange. Have you had the same experience?
Yes. Many times.
Oh,
I think I just think in general, like once you step behind the scenes, so to speak, or for you it would be behind the curtain, for me it would be behind the mic, right? Like when you step into the kind of behind the scenes making of universe and you see how much truly needs to happen in order for the star to walk on stage. There's so many little parts that need to fall in place before that moment can happen. I think from there on out, it's almost like you've seen The Matrix.
Yes.
And for you to then afterwards be able to just sit still and just be the one just walking on a ready-made stage, there's something very like...
My fingers itch.
Right?
Yeah,
I think you and I, one of the things that is common ground for us is that we have both been truly like bitten by the production bug.
Sure.
And I think when you have,
Mhm.
it's like a Spider-Man effect. Like it will never leave you. Like
No, sure.
you can no longer just be on the other side
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
some sense.
Definitely.
But that's really, and one thing that I really wanted to ask you about in terms of the early stages of your acting career and your education, all of that.
Mhm.
When I first discovered you a few years ago as Swedish theater maker in New York,
Mhm.
I found it such an interesting mix that you are so deeply into the Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Where did that first come from? Was it always something that you just loved him from the start, or where did that come from?
No. I despised him. I just despised him so much. No, it honestly came from when I moved here. Because like back in Sweden, I'm raised in like the Brechtian tradition, where you're not at all supposed to like tap into naturalism like whatsoever. You're supposed to like be very like, I am embodying the message of the story, freedom, alienation. Like you're supposed to like comment on the story, which I think is still super cool. Like I love that style. I love Anne Bogart, all the viewpoints things, and all these like weird experimental things, but I was introduced to Shakespeare back in Sweden in my previous school, not the high school, but I went to another one like after. And then we did Shakespeare in Swedish. And I was like,
in Swedish?
Yeah.
I've never heard that that's a thing.
I mean,
I guess. I mean, it makes sense when you say it. Of course, he would be translated to all possible languages,
Yeah.
but okay.
But it's not the same thing because it's not like iambic or anything like that.
Yeah.
So for me, I just felt like it was old. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And I also didn't, since I was so raised like with political theater, I was like, this has nothing to say about like Swedish society and I don't like it. And then I pull up here and I'm introduced to like naturalism and like more realism and like Angels in America and all these like new modern American plays, like stiletto, like action analysis, and like everything is about like living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And when I had my eyes open for that stuff, and I was like, God, this is like so much easier and more fun. I actually get to feel my emotions. And then I was introduced to Shakespeare, and I feel like he walked very much hand in hand with naturalism for me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, I feel like Shakespeare, because it's so old and it's also rhythmic, it's almost easier for a non-native English speaker. It's almost easier to make naturalist because you have a framework to work with it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, because one would think that it's the opposite.
Probably, yeah. And I think maybe it's different from person to person.
Yeah.
So with Shakespeare being like, it's sort of like it stuck so much easier for me.
Interesting.
So then I just ended up like reading a lot while I was also like while I was in school, and I had this amazing Shakespeare teacher called Elizabeth Shepherd. She's like, I think she's 90 this year or 89 this year. She was like 85 when I had her.
Wow.
And she is from the UK. She played every Shakespeare part, knew everything by heart, and I think she saw that I had the bug.
Yeah.
So she really saw me and like gave me all the best parts. Like I was like fucking fresh off the boat from Sweden, and she gave me Romeo.
You're a Romeo, obviously.
How did she know?
I love that.
It's also because of her encouragement. I'm very much like, I don't know, fell deeply in love with it.
So she's a little bit of a Shakespearean mentor to you in that sense.
Not a little bit. She's my god.
Oh,
yeah, she's my god.
Shout out to, what was her name?
Elizabeth Shepherd.
Shout out to Elizabeth.
Yeah, shout out to Elizabeth. And still, every time I play a Shakespeare part, even with the drunk ones, I call or like I email her and I'm like, can we set up a meeting? Like, can you coach me?
And where is she now?
She's in Washington Heights.
She's here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. She gives classes and everything. If people want to look her up, shout out.
Speaking of casting a Swedish person as Romeo, I'm curious, because your career in New York, at least from my perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's been a lot of Shakespeare in it. You've done 4 or 5 installments of the Drunk Shakespeare and played different parts in that kind of in the Shakespearean realm. How do you find Swedishness in yourself still? How do you feel like Swedishness is like with you in New York? Or is it?
It definitely is. It definitely is. I'm just trying to put it into words because I don't feel very Swedish in the like Shakespeare setting necessarily, but I basically only listen to Swedish music.
Oh, really?
So all my inspiration, like for all the parts or whatever, I always listen to Swedish music to get me like in the mood for the characters, especially like stupid old like cultural appropriation Viking music. Like I have like I'm not sure if do you know Heilung?
No, I don't think so.
They're crazy. Like they're very cringe. It's like a Norwegian, German, Danish band, and they make like pretend Viking music. It's definitely not like culturally or like historically accurate.
Yeah.
But like when I put on Macbeth last year, that was like everything I was listening to.
Okay.
And it's so I also think because so many of the Shakespeare things are like so medieval, I tend to feel European at least.
Yeah, there is an anchor there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
One of the reasons I left Sweden was because I didn't feel, because I'm a special snowflake and I'm the main character. So I was just like, I'm not Swedish. I'm not like the other Swedish people. And I like moved here feeling very much not Swedish and wanted to get away from all of that and only wanting to do like American things or English things like forever.
Yeah.
And I think even I started like that with Shakespeare too. I was like, finally I get to do it in English and stuff. But I've never felt more Scandinavian than I do now.
Yeah.
Like now when I'm like this established in the US, I'm like, I have a life and like, you know, like a free partner and everything.
Yeah.
I think by distancing myself from it so hard, I managed to find like the actual roots of it. Like Viking music for Macbeth, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. I have the exact same experience. And I think that then it becomes something that is, I don't want to say more authentic because I don't think if it's obvious it needs to be inauthentic in any way, but it does become something much more sort of personal and innate about this is just who I am, where I come from. And it seeps into everything kind of unconsciously. So
it feels, I agree with you. Like maybe not more authentic than people who feel it in a different way. But like, I don't know, for me, for the first time, it like feels precious. Like I like it. Like now I would want to go out there and like perform a Swedish song. Like I'm itching for that.
I love that. That's great. Well done, New York.
Yeah.
Beat it out of us.
Shout out to New York.
Shout out to New York. You said something in an interview recently that I thought was really interesting. And this goes back a little bit to what you were talking about, naturalism and all that. You said, and I quote, "Personally, my biggest thing is providing an alternative to realism. I think realism is perfect for the screen, but I'm not so sure if I think it has a place on stage."
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
I think that was a pretty pretentious quote from my side. But
I love it.
Yeah, but I think what I mean, like I've definitely come around to realism / naturalism when it comes like for the actor, so to speak. Like if we're just, okay, let's bring it back to like A Man Called Paris. Right? A Man Called Paris is not a naturalistic play. Like whatsoever. The acting is still great, and especially this time around, even with the craziest dialogue, I feel like the actors are like living in the moment and taking what they're saying. Like for them, it's real.
Yeah,
and they are definitely talking to each other.
Yeah,
and feeling these emotions and choosing these words because it comes from within for them. Even though the words are fucking bananas, like they're crazy. Nobody would ever talk like that. But then we, as the theater makers, like the director and the producer and stuff, we put them in this crazy world. Like I guess what I'm saying is we give them very absurd circumstances that heighten the stakes and the human experience while they can still live truthfully in it without like, it's hard to explain, but
I think you're doing great. I'm understanding what you're saying.
Yeah. I think, I guess I think what I meant by that quote is that I think we're already in our regular lives living realistically. So I don't necessarily think that on the stage that we want to go and see somebody living just like we do. We want to go to the stage and we want to relate and learn something about, it doesn't have to be like about the world, but about like emotions or like
ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Ourselves and how humans handle different situations. And I don't necessarily think that realism, the really toned down thing, is the best tool to do that.
You know what that brings to my mind, which has nothing to do with anything, but I will still say it because I think it's a good comparison. As a theater maker, you know that reality TV is actually very far from reality.
Oh yeah, sure.
If we actually made a reality TV that was just filming us in our daily lives, no one would want to watch it.
Probably not.
And I think it touches on the same thing, what you're saying here, which is that we kind of want reality in the sense that we want relativity. Relativity? relatability.
Yeah, that's what it
Thank
is.
you. We want relatability. We want connection. We want to be mirrored, right? But we do want it in a more interesting setting.
Yes.
We don't want to admit that we do.
Yes.
We're going on about, but we want everyone on social media to be raw and real. And we want these reality shows to be raw and real. And we want art to reflect life in that way. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We
Because even
don't.
the raw and real is an exaggeration.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you. That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why this kind of made perfect sense to me. Even though I would never compare theater to a reality TV show. No one please quote me on that.
I'm going to compare theater to reality TV shows. Definitely.
In this sense, they do have overlap.
Yeah,
right?
it should. Yes. And that's also like that. It's a good. I'm not going to name any names or any shows.
Yeah.
But sometimes we all know that sometimes when you go to big theaters and you see like real like gritty naturalism, like you think it's really cool for maybe 30 minutes. And then for the remainder of the 2.5 hours, you're like, oh my God, sleep. Because they're like, everything they're doing this, they're sitting up there, they're feeling emotions towards each other. They don't give a shit about us.
Right.
If they gave a shit about us, if they invited us into the space, I think it would be way better.
And then it's immediately a show.
Yeah.
And then it's
reality television.
Exactly. Oh no! Please, no one come after me for this. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm gonna put it on my company's website. Creating reality television theater since 2025.
Nordic Artists of New York founder Petra quotes: "Theater is actually just reality TV." Oh no!
You know, Bertolt Brecht says like theater isn't the mirror we hold up against society; it's the hammer which we use to shape it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a much better
society.
quote than mine. So
no, it's not.
Okay, Max, I want to switch gears here a little bit before I will get cancelled. So tell me a little bit about the first kind of thought or inspirational spark that you experienced about coming to New York. How did that idea first come to you?
When I'm a Sagittarius and I need to win. So in my high school, we had my very, very good friend who was also in the Seagull the musical later that we did in Sweden, but his name is Andreas Gersten. Shout out Andreas. Still an actor.
Shout out Andreas.
Yeah, one of the best actors that I like ever know. Funniest guy ever. But so because he is amazing, he got accepted into American Academy of Dramatic Art during his third year in high school. And I had no idea that was even an option, that you could do that. So I saw that happening and I was like, oh my God, I gotta do that. And so I sort of asked him like how he did it and stuff. And he was super, super helpful. So the next year I applied for American Academy of Dramatic Art as well. Went to London, did the audition. I got in, I was super, super proud of myself. I was also like 19 and like traveling by myself. And I felt very, very adult. And then I realized how expensive it was. And I was like, I can't swing that. There's no way I can swing that. So I had to drop that dream. And then I started like, researching like what are my other options. And meanwhile, I was like actually working like as an actor in Sweden. So I don't know, things where it wasn't like as urgent anymore because I was getting jobs, which was cool. And then I got into Stella Adler in 2020 and then COVID hit. And I was like, no! So,
come on.
So I was deferred like 2 semesters and I never thought it was going to happen.
And how old were you at this time when you finally went to Stella?
I mean, I guess it was in 2021. So I would have been 22, turning 23.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah. But it was like 3
Still
years.
very young, but yeah.
And 3 years is a long time when you're like 19 to 22.
Oh my. Oh, definitely.
Not anymore. But back then.
That must have been so rough. And I'm sorry that these back steps happened to you, but I actually love that you just told us that, because on this podcast and in this community we have so many incredible artists who have gotten all kinds of grants or scholarships or like just gotten really, not to say that it's just luck, of course it's hard work and talent and all of that, but gotten really lucky in the sense that they have been able to go to schools that truly, for a normal person in the Nordic countries, is completely beyond our budget.
Yeah.
And so I actually love that you brought that up. I don't think we've had that conversation on the podcast yet about those times when it actually didn't quite work out in the sense. When you got into
American Academy of Dramatic
American Academy, right. When you found out that it was going to be out of your reach, how did that feel? What did you go through? Yeah.
Actually. But luckily for me, I was like working at the Australian World at the same time.
Oh.
and I've gotten like a really good part. So I felt like affirmed
Yeah.
while I was going through that. So it didn't like, I was a little spoiled. Like it would have felt way worse if I had nothing
Yeah.
going for me. But I was already like, I was like in the park doing theater every day and on the phone with them all the time, like trying to work it out for as long as I could. But of course, naturally, it's devastating.
Yeah.
And especially like, I mean, if you were stubborn, you want everything to happen like your way.
Yeah.
But I also think like the entire experience of getting here when I got here and everything that has happened since I got here, and also, of course, it comes with getting older. But I'm very much, my takeaway is very much like work hard, but trust the universe. Like it's gonna happen if you really want it. It is gonna happen. It might not happen the way you want it to happen, or when you want it to happen.
Yeah.
But if you try to force it too hard, you're literally just gonna be in pain.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't happen, trust that it will. Move on, keep working. But definitely, I think it hurt. It hurt worse when I had already gotten into Stellar and I knew I was gonna go. I knew I could afford it, and COVID hit,
Yeah.
and they deferred me a semester because it felt like they were gonna defer me forever. Of course, and that was so out of my power. And then also because it was COVID, nobody could do anything.
Yeah.
So there were no distractions, and everything you did was like wait and wait and wait.
Yeah.
But even then, like I don't know, things work out.
Things work out. In the end, you did make it to New York.
Yeah.
What do you remember about your first weeks here?
I mean, it was still like COVID-ish a little bit. Like I think my first impression, it was a snowstorm the day I pulled up. And I was living in Bushwick on Star Street. And so like it's a pretty big street, but like on the sidewalk was completely covered in like a mountain of snow, right? Because I guess I'd been plowing the street or something. I had my big bag and I was coming, like I had a friend who came with me too, so I wasn't alone, which was good. So we like climbed over the big pile of snow and like, we had to like, I don't know, like ram ourselves against the door to like get it open. And we entered and we're finally there. And we're living with two other roommates who we only know from like Facebook.
Yeah.
So it was like crazy. We've been talking for like half a year to these people. And then like to see them in person. So that was insane. That was very surreal. But then I don't know, the biggest thing I remember was that like all the bars that were like closed,
Yeah.
but they had shutters so you heard the music from the inside. And like once you went to the back, they would just let you in and it was like cash only.
Really?
Yeah, there were so many places like that.
This must have been like a Brooklyn thing because
Probably.
I don't think we had that in or I just wasn't cool enough to know about these places.
Yeah.
But okay.
I mean, I just lived like smack down in the club district.
Yeah.
So it took a couple of weeks, but I mean, you heard music from these establishments every day. So I was like, there's no way they're not open.
Interesting.
So that was like a big thing. And then when spring rolled around, remember the snow pile I was telling you about?
Mm-hmm.
I remember all the snow melting and realizing that it wasn't a snow pile at all. It was just trash.
Ah.
And that was a big cultural shock for me, I remember.
Wow. Okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds really glamorous.
What was your first impression of New York?
I came all alone. I didn't know
Yeah.
anybody when I moved into the city.
Mhm.
And I remember the first day that I arrived,
Mhm.
my first big challenge was that when I was looking at the staircase to the motel that I was living in, or like a hostel, I guess one will call it, the stairs were they just went on forever. It must have been like 5 floors of just straight up, super steep stairs. And I was like, what am I going to do? I cannot get this, like I physically cannot get these bags up.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I stood there on the street for a while and I was like, who can I trust? Like, could I just pay someone to, carry them up for me? But I'm in the middle of Bowery, which
Yeah.
at that moment felt like a really rough neighborhood. Now we know it's not.
It's not.
In that moment, it felt very like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was just wild. And then when I got to the hostel, which by the way cost an arm and a leg, like I paid
yeah.
like $1,000 per week because I just had nowhere else to go at that point. I really did my research before coming, as you can see.
Yeah, obviously.
So I remember that the room was so small that it was, first of all, the bed was like basically like a children's size bed. Thank God I'm tiny. Like you and I would have been like fine,
Yeah.
but like many others would not have like been able to sleep there.
Yeah.
And next to the bed, you had enough space for one of my suitcases or me to walk into the room.
Oh.
So every time I could walk into the room, I had to take out the suitcase in order to fit into the room. Like that's the size of the hotel room. Also, it was called a hotel, even though it was a hostel. So it's just these kinds of like vivid memories from the very first night.
Hei, welcome, välkomna, tervetuloa. At Finlandia Foundation, we celebrate Finnish American heritage and work to build bridges between Finland and the United States, connecting past, present, and future through culture. We're proud to partner with Nordic Artists of New York, bringing Nordic American voices to a global stage through the True North podcast. You can support projects like this by joining our community and contributing at finlandiafoundation.org. And now, back to the show. Ja nyt takaisin ohjelmaan.
What have been some of the, I know we talk on this podcast a lot about how expensive the city is for artists to live in, but what have been some of the other, like besides money, what are the biggest challenges that you find in New York as an actor, as a theater maker?
I mean, definitely like rehearsal space, but that's also like related to money, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, I think it takes a while for you to like find your people.
Yeah.
Also because there's such a hustle culture.
Yeah.
So I feel like there are so many people that are just, and I'm not saying it's something bad about them. I've absolutely been that person too, but there are so many people that just pass through your life, and maybe you're meant to like you're meant to have a slight connection for a little bit, maybe work on something creatively, and then you probably are never gonna see them again because even though they're awesome people and you love them and they love you, they love the art more. And I've been guilty of that too, and I've met so many people like this. I think in the beginning, it takes a while for you to probably not be that person yourself. Like find time for your friends.
Yeah.
I think is very important, and then also find friends that you feel genuinely like care for you,
right,
and have time to care for you,
right, and put in the effort to. And I think that's tough in creative fields especially, and something that I have been thinking about a lot is that so many of your friends end up doing the same, like end up being in the field that you are.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a chicken, like nobody knows which came first. Like if you first worked together and then became friends, or if you were friends and then worked together, it doesn't really matter. But the end result is that it can be really hard to have friendships that actually have nothing to do with work.
I don't think I have a single one, to be honest.
Exactly. It's a whole conundrum. And I think that then makes it difficult to get to a point where you feel like you are caring for your friends like as people and connecting and making the effort and giving the time when it has nothing, when there's no production to it.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you don't have to achieve anything.
Yeah, and especially like, and I found myself, it was like a little crazy, like last year in spring before I went back to Sweden for a while, I definitely felt like I was like burning out severely. I don't think I understood that it was burnout until I like stopped and I couldn't get up. A little bit like last time. So many people experience this. Yeah. But I remember like being at a bar at some point, talking to a good friend of mine who had been playing the main character. No. I think he was supposed to be playing the main character in our next show that we're gonna do later. And that was the only thing I could talk to him about. Yeah. Like I had nothing. There was like nothing left in me.
There was nothing else.
No, like I could only talk about like, and then we're planning this show right then, and then rehearsals can be like this, and our fight choreographer is coming in right here, and then you're gonna do it like this, and I really love this scene, and maybe you could like, dig into this. Yeah. And I was like,
it's scary.
Yeah. So I'm trying really hard, especially with so many of my friends are in a man called Paris because, we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, of
like
course.
We're close now. And I'm trying very hard to not let that be the only thing we talk about.
Yeah.
But I find it easier when I'm just a producer. Before I was like, freaking prop maker and costume designer, and like I have more people on the team this time,
right?
Which is great. But yeah, it's definitely a trap.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're bringing that up because I do think that is a very widely shared experience in our community, but like in any art community in New York. I think that's very widely shared. Another thing about sort of New York life that I wanted to touch upon, which is what I ask all of my guests on the podcast, is money and the financial reality of artistry in New York. And what I would like to ask you is to build us a little bit of a pie chart of like, where does your living actually come from? What would be the biggest pieces? Is it very fragmented into 1,000 different little income streams, or like, how do you actually make it in New York?
I mean, it is pretty fragmented. It is pretty fragmented. I used to, for the longest time, I worked in a cheese and charcuterie store. And then I would work like 4 days a week, which was, I mean, I was a little younger and not as burnt out.
Yeah.
They didn't pay me that much. It was a very nice experience regardless. So I think like that's one option to like actually work full time 4 days a week at
Yeah.
least. But then the problem is that you don't have enough time for your part.
Exactly.
And then when I got tired, because I did it for so long, I did it for like 3 years. It was too much. Now I am a cater waiter. So I do like gig stuff, you know, and there's so many of those companies in the city. And I feel like everybody who works for those companies are actors.
Yes.
And I highly recommend.
Actors, dancers,
Yes.
musicians. Yeah.
Yes. And you're occasional person who's just stuck there for some reason.
Yeah.
But most people are definitely creative. So it's also a very good working opportunity.
Yes.
And they pay way better.
Yeah.
So I recommend that for everybody.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, I play for a couple. It's fun. You get to see crazy places in New York that you would never be allowed into.
That's true.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And you go everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I find it very inspiring.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then I also house manage at the Players Theater.
Yeah.
Which I've been doing shows there for like years. So it's just like a little side income. And then of course like the occasional acting jobs. I don't do as many acting jobs anymore. I'm very picky. Like we're doing Pippi Longstocking this time, but my biggest nightmare currently is to spread myself too thin. So I'm like one acting thing and one producing thing is okay.
Oh, you're much better than I am
Maybe.
at that. One day I will learn to say no to this.
But it's only because I like burnt out last year. I'm sure I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I want to feel joy about these things. I don't want it to feel like pressure.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yeah, so acting gigs, I try to do a lot of like one day things
Yeah.
lately. Like I did an improv Shakespeare thing the other week, and then I did like a political debate thing, and like as long as it's little commitment,
Yeah.
I'm fine with doing multiple things.
Yeah. I also learned about something that you said about competition between actors. We all know that theater in general is a very competitive field. And I think this is something that is very obvious to those who are in it and in that field.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the same experience if you are, say, in music or in visual arts. What's so different about theater is that there often is just one person hired for the role. And that doesn't happen in the same way in other fields of art.
Sure.
But you spoke very gracefully in this interview that I heard about competition between actors and how you should actually look at them like as your friends and peers and colleagues. Say a little bit more about that. What has your experience of that been?
I think in general, as someone who used to be very competitive, I think when I switched the mindset to, because of course it is competitive and you will be denied a lot of times. You will get the no. Like the stereotype everyone always says is like, you know, you'll get 100 no's and a yes.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff. And I don't think that's like sustainable. That's not a sustainable thing to live through because that's like traumatic. Like if you approach it like competition and as like it has to do something with like your self-value,
right,
or like your value as a human, you will spiral.
That's a slippery slope. Yeah,
no, definitely. Like, I mean, you will traumatize yourself so hard beyond that, and you'll become so like dependent on other people, and like I don't think it's good for your psyche at all. Which I think also, if we're just talking like professionally, I think that leads to you getting fewer parts because people see that you're depressed or desperate, and that you're like, I don't know, people don't want to work with people like that either. So from a professional standpoint, that's where I stand. But then also, like, I mean, this life is about like, you know, making relationships and connections. Like, it's not about competition. You already have to compete so hard to like even get in rooms.
Yeah.
Like, why would you when you actually meet people who are, by the way, so much alike you that they were considered for the same role?
Exactly.
Like, they're so similar to you. They would probably be your best. If you guys got to talk for like 2 minutes, they would probably be your best friends. Unless you hated them so much because they're so similar to you.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those two things. And like, we're all in this field because we love it.
Yeah.
And who else are we going to be friends with?
Yeah.
Like,
and collaborate with and
Exactly.
help each other and support each other and
Sure.
teach each other.
Because that's also the thing. Like when you start, because I feel like so many people these days view networking as a part of this, like, you know, like risk looks maxing like Sigma toxic masculinity like style.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go out and network.
Yeah.
And they think that networking means that you put yourself in a room and you like impress somebody by like touching your jawline or something, and then you have a connection and everyone looks up to you and you're gonna get cast forever. That's not how it works.
No.
Like the way you network is by like being nice.
Yes.
and being in spaces with other people who are also creators. And then I'm not saying like become friends with people because then you can use them to cast you. But it
No,
is.
it's not that linear.
No.
Or it shouldn't be
No.
that transactional.
But
Yeah.
it's like also all of us who do create things in New
Mhm.
York, especially like at our levels, are friends.
Yes.
Like that's how it is.
Yes, actually.
Because you want to work with your friends and you want to help your friends, and that's why like
Yes.
how you lift each other up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I find it so interesting that networking has been painted as such a dirty word.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter what you call it. If you want to call it networking or making friends or building community, like however you want to brand it, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's essentially just getting out there, finding people who either want to do similar things as you and want to do them with you, or want to do really, really different things in your field and you might learn from them,
Yeah.
or you might find really interesting collaborative perspectives or like whatever it might be. But it's essentially just finding people, connecting with them. That's all it is. Like,
It really is. It's the schoolyard.
it's the schoolyard.
Is literally what it is.
Yeah.
And if you're too competitive, then nobody's gonna like you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to jump into talking a little bit about A Man Called Paris because
Great.
I'm very excited about this
Yeah.
production coming back. So I know that so A Man Called Paris, obviously written by your very good friend, the incredible playwright Hannah Ray, and this is her debut play to hit the stages. But I happen to know of an insider scoop that you were in the room at the inception of this idea. Would you tell me a little bit about what happened?
This is really me exposing myself, but I will. So it was one fateful day. I had been out partying like crazy the day before. I was probably the most hungover I've been in my entire life. I was laying in my bed thinking I would die. And I don't usually get that hungover, but my like head was pounding. I felt like throwing up, and I was just like, like crying. I thought I was gonna die. And then Hannah, she's also my roommate. She texted me and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "No, no, I'm gonna die." She was like, "Can I do anything for you?" And I was like, "Please get me Gatorade." And she's like, "Okay." And then she goes to get it. She comes up to me. I was like, "Sit with me, please." So she was like, "Oh my God." And so she's like sitting down at the chair next to my bed. I'm like grabbing onto her hand, like, cramping. And I was like, "No, tell me the story about Romeo and Juliet." She was like, "I don't know the story of Romeo and Juliet." She's like a filmmaker. She's not a theater person.
Yeah.
She's written several like short films before this and worked on like big things, but never theater. So she was like, "The last time I read Romeo and Juliet was in high school. I don't know this." I was like, "Shut up. Tell me the story of Romeo and Juliet." And then she like starts improvising, sort of. And that's the beginning of this play.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. So you were her muse a little bit.
A little bit.
A very hungover muse.
A very, very hungover muse. But I shouldn't forget to mention the reason it is about Paris is also because back in the day, the first time she read it when she was like 11, she realized that everyone was treating Paris unfairly. So when she did tell it back to me, she'd already conceived that idea like 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of making Paris like the main character.
Yeah. She was like, he's just some guy who's like, he's just an awkward guy who comes in that he doesn't really want to seduce this 14-year-old, but he's like, Juliet. And then he just gets killed. It's very unfair.
It's not a great story for him.
No.
But it is a great story otherwise. And I actually really want to, and I hope I'm not embarrassing you, but I really want to read a little review that I read by theater critic Jacob West, because I thought this was so spot on my experience of when I saw the play. Described as a queer and out there take on Romeo and Juliet, this new work flips the dusty old Shakespearean tragedy on its head with sharp humor, a big heart, and a generous helping of rated R language. Honestly, it feels like a love letter to everyone who ever had to slog through English lit class wondering when they'd finally get a version of Shakespeare that was actually fun. In a time when stories about LGBTQ lives are needed more than ever, A Man Called Paris feels both like an act of joyful rebellion and a hug to everyone who's ever felt like an outsider. And if you can handle some gloriously filthy jokes alongside your Shakespearean references, you'll have the time of your life. I am so excited about this hitting the stages again. Tell me a little bit about this newest production.
I think the biggest thing, because obviously, like in the blurb, we talked about Paris being a gay man, and in this review, it's all about, like, you know, it's a love letter to the LGBTQ community. And one thing I just want to touch on is, like, that there is a big, like, trans sentiment in this play, and it's been from the beginning. But this time around, I think the first time we did it, I personally didn't understand that the main characters were, like, trans women. I just thought that they were gay guys. But then, as we've been workshopping it, it's become very clear to me that for the playwright, they've always been women. So, and I should have seen something, because the two main characters, Paris and Hugh Grant, have from the get-go been played by women. They're like women playing men because they're actually women. And that is does that make any sense?
Wait, say that again.
They are women playing men because the characters are actually women.
The characters are actually women?
They're actually trans women, yes. And that's why she wanted to cast it like that from the beginning. And I didn't get that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't get, I mean, okay.
Yeah. So I just want to touch on that, especially since we live in the time we're living.
Yeah.
I mean, like it says in the review, it is a terribly filthy play. And it very much begins like, you know, it's literally just like freaking South Park, like, sort of. And then slowly but steadily it becomes a very, very sweet love story between these people, and very much exploring identity. And because it's all about not being allowed to express like who you are or like live your truth.
Yeah.
Like that's what the entire play is about. But as just like Romeo and Juliet, it is a tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And it is a perfect blend of really fun, really joyful, rebellious, irreverent, and then also incredibly empathy arousing.
Yeah.
And connection building in some way.
I feel that way too.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like not to like toot our own horn, but I felt sort of like the first time I read A Man Called Paris, I felt a little bit the same way I felt when I saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show first time. Because that one is, you know, it's so fucking wild. And you're like, everyone's a bad person in this.
Yeah.
And then you hit the part where they sing the I'm Going Home. Do you know that part?
No, no.
Watch this.
Not well enough.
Yeah, but Tim Curry plays this character, Dr. Frankenfurter, who's like sort of, it's like an old take on a trans woman, I think. And they're like a total terrible person. And in the end, they sort of like, I don't know, their heart cracks open and they realize that they're like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here tormenting these people. I'm supposed to go home. And then they kill them right away, just as they'd come to terms with that they're like with themselves and like that they don't have to behave this way.
Yeah.
They get killed.
Which is very Shakespearean.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Apart from obviously this raving review and me loving it, what have some of the other reactions to this been?
I mean, luckily enough, we have had mostly good reactions.
Yeah.
We've had mostly good reactions. We have had a couple of parents not wanting to express themselves afterwards. We had we had one person saying it felt like it was written by a teenage boy until they realized it was written by queer people. But mostly it's been very good reviews, and everybody I've spoken to, like a couple of the people on the team right now, are people who just couldn't stop talking about it. Last time, like the person who plays Benvolio, he was like the biggest fan before. Now he's in it, Joseph Basse.
Love that.
And our stage manager Shreya, she was also the biggest fan before. Now she's in it, like actually producing it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think most people can really take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there been, just because you are dealing with such a classic literature, like you're literally dealing with the king himself, Shakespeare, has there been any backlash around that where someone has felt that it's, you know, sacrilege, or I don't even know what to call it, too irreverent, that you're...
I mean, the things that I think we stray like far enough the original that people don't really feel that way. I think some people feel it in the first scene, because the first scene it sort of begins like Shakespearean with the Shakespearean dialogue, and then we turn it on its head completely. And I think some people, including me when I first read it, was a little bit like off-standish. I was like, what is this going to become? Like, what are they doing to this? But most people, I think, because the rest of the story, like it follows the structure of Romeo and Juliet, but it's so like different.
Yeah.
So I don't think most people feel that way.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody super express that.
Well, I mean, but you do it incredibly well, and I think it's said in some bit here where it does still have, there is still like some kind of a loyalty to Shakespeare, or like to Romeo and Juliet, like in its core, but it's just a really, really fresh perspective.
Yeah. I don't, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like
Toot it. It's your episode. You can toot it.
No, because Hannah low-key hates Shakespeare a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's why she's written this. I don't think she actually, well, she always says she hates Shakespeare. Right?
Yeah.
So if there's any truth, like I've been very adamant. I haven't written the script though. Like it's not at all my baby, except some of the Shakespeare things. I have made sure that, like, when Mercutio dies, spoiler, he's been doing it for 400 years. Of course he dies again. I made sure that we include, like, the characteristic lines, like, they made worms meat of me. I plague on both your houses,
Which is great because then you're catering to the people who are there to see a new take on a Shakespearean.
Yeah.
So it kind of works out for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Which is why everybody should go see it.
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody. I am delighted to say that A Man Called Paris is returning to a stage in New York this summer. That's going to be August 8th and 9th at Under St. Mark's as part of the Little Shakespeare Festival by Frigid New York. This is a great opportunity to go see this great new play. Tickets are officially live now. The easiest way to find them is to go to Instagram, A Man Called Paris, and find the ticket link in their bio. See you there. Yes, and we're going to post all about it on our channel. So if someone wants more information, wants to find the ticket link, just you'll find it in the show notes, and you'll also find it on our Instagram, in our newsletter, just everywhere. Okay, so one more question before we go into our rapid fire section.
Sure.
And my question to you is, what is your dream right now?
My dream is to run a theater company that can pay people, and thus art that is like cool and like cool for the people who are in it. It actually feels like inspiring, like A Man Called Paris and certain Shakespeare takes, but also feels like relevant for the younger audience, or like the audience in general. Like I want people to want to come, if that makes sense.
To re-engage with theater,
I would like for the company to be like bi-coastal, like both here and in Sweden. And my biggest thing, like in Sweden, I would really, really, really want to like make a Shakespeare company, because not to talk shit about Swedish theater, but they don't fucking know how to do Shakespeare, and it's always some dumbass take. Like, even if it like looks really, really cool when they first introduce it, it's always some director is like, had to put their staple on it and make it like not Shakespeare. I'm like, what happened to like selfless Shakespeare? What happened to like serving the story? Like, I'm not sure if you saw Hamlet at BAM. It's the National Theatre, like the one in London, and they're doing it at BAM, like up here in Brooklyn. Fantastic. Impeccable. Like, that's perfect Shakespeare. And it was still like, they were sort of wearing modern clothes-ish, but it was true to the story, and they'd only cut out the excessive things that doesn't like serve the story. You couldn't tell that like a director had wanted to like put their name on it or anything like that. It was literally just about the characters and their journey in the story. And like, that's what I would like to bring to Sweden. Like, I just want to do like the old school style. That's something that is missing in the Swedish theater market. And when I speak to like young people, like my brother, for example, he's studying to be like an engineer. He hangs out with like engineer people. Yeah. And I was like chatting with him the other month, and I was like, so Ferdinand, what would you like to see? Like, why don't you go to the theater? And he was like, no, because if I'm as a non-theater person is going to go and spend money on going to the theater, I want to feel like it educates me culturally.
I love that.
Yeah.
How old is your brother?
He's like 20. He's like a kid.
I love that though.
Yeah.
That's such a mature response.
Yeah.
I feel.
He's also a nerd, but
also he's your brother, so I'm not surprised that he's brilliant.
Nobody said that, and then I kept asking like non-theater people, and like presenting this idea to them, and they were like, yeah, like that's sort of like, I wouldn't have put it that way, but yes, that's sort of what I'm missing. So I think for Sweden, that's what I would like to do. Yeah. And then here, I would like to probably like keep challenging. Like, I don't want to make things commercial for the sake of commercialism, but I would like A Man Called Paris is fairly commercial. Like, it's super funny, and it caters to a special like audience and stuff like that. But I want to keep doing that kind of things, like out there things for the queer community that are also a little commercialized, so it could become mainstream at some point, and like actually open people's eyes to this style of theater and for the queer community.
Yeah.
So I think,
and I mean, a little commercialism basically its job. When it's sprinkled on there tastefully, I think its job is just to invite a bigger audience in, which obviously serves your goal.
Yeah.
To come.
I think a
That's
little
right.
crowd pleasery might be
Yeah.
a better word in commercialism.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Entertainment value.
Little mainstream sprinkled on Off-Off-Broadway.
Yeah.
That's basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and I have to add, like the dream, of course, is to own a theater building. I want to have a theater company and I want to own a theater. So I never have to pay for rehearsal space again or for like a stage. That would be the dream.
Okay. We're on board. Just tell us how to help and when. Okay.
Thank you.
Rapid fire. This is 10 questions that you're supposed to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind with between one word and one sentence. Just like a short, snappy answer. Okay. And we're trying to find a Nordic name for this section. What would be something quick and Nordic?
Heta stolen. It's Swedish.
Oh, right. The hot chair.
Yeah, the hot chair. Yeah.
Oh, that could be cute. Okay, we'll think about
it.
Anyway, so are you ready? Take a deep breath. Okay.
Me. No. Okay, go.
Okay. The question actually is perfect for what you just did. If you couldn't be an artist of any kind, what would you do for a living?
Hedge fund manager.
Okay. Sure. That came out of nowhere. Okay. I mean, I kind of wish you were because then, we would all be richer. Okay. Number 2. What is something you always bring with you from home? Sweden.
Snus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3. What is your favorite secret gem place in New York, or like a secret happy place? Could be public, could be outside, inside, business, whatever.
My rooftop. Or secret? What do you mean?
No, that's good.
Yeah, or the back rooms. It's like a speakeasy where you drink from the teacups.
Oh, the back room. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love that place. Wait, Monarch rooftop too. Nobody ever goes there because it looks too fancy.
Yes.
But it's not too fancy.
But it's not too fancy.
No.
It's really nice.
It's really nice.
Okay, excellent. If you could have your art showcase, so in your case this would be a play that you wrote or even you acting, at any famous building in the world, which one would it be? What would be a stage that you would be like, that one? I've made it.
Dramaten, I guess.
In Stockholm?
Yeah, I guess. No, but that's also so simpy from my side. I don't care about buildings.
Okay, maybe you don't care.
No, I do. I just can't. I just don't want everybody to know. Well, yeah, probably Dramaten.
Secret answer. That's fine. Okay, number 5. What is the worst advice you've ever received?
I don't know how to like if I remember like a specific phrase.
It could be anything.
But like it's basically like don't put yourself out there. Don't think you are somebody. Like the jantelagen, the Swedish one. Like you don't think that you're better than anybody.
Yeah. Don't stand out.
Yeah.
Don't make a big deal out of yourself.
Yeah. That one is a really big one. Like like no bragging. I feel like we should be teaching our kids to brag in a non-toxic way. Because you don't want to be somebody who walks around like arrogantly bragging, but you gotta learn how to be able to talk about your achievements.
Yes.
Because if you don't, especially in this country, if you're like, no, I don't know if I have any achievement, people think you're so cringe.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember the first time ever that I had to write a bio for something in New York.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea what I'm doing. I literally I was like, what can I use like nice words to describe myself and my work? Does it have it was just really scary to say anything flattering about yourself.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
We should start a course in the Nanu network. How to bragging for Nordics. That could be needed.
Honestly, yeah, we should do that. That would be a workshop.
Yes, that would be a workshop. Okay, number 6. What's the best advice you've ever received?
I'm trying to think because I feel it's something along the lines with actually try to feel your feelings and act based on that. Instead of trying to feel out what is expected of you or what you think would be the good and valid thing to think.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we do deceive, or I deceive myself so much, thinking that I want something, but actually it's for maybe the wrong reasons. Maybe it's for glory and fame and stuff like that. You got to do what you do because you genuinely like it. And the only way to find that out is to actually sit down, take a break and look within.
Yeah.
And that's super painful. I'm getting better at it, but I think that's where I'm at in my journey currently.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And also just like when I realized that you don't have to be the best, like that was a bit, it's enough that you're good. You don't have to be the best. Like that changed my life.
I have a good friend who is a musician and a booker of shows, like does like lots of different artist showcases, concerts, things like that in the music world of New York, and works full time. And he once said to me something that changed my life, where he it was just an offhanded thing where he said, you know, I don't really need to be good at my job. I don't need to be the employee of the month.
Yeah.
I just need to do it well enough that, you know, my boss is happy and the job gets done. And I was like, what do you mean you don't what do you mean you don't have to be the best at this? And he's like, no, I don't. Music is my passion. That's where I want to excel at.
Yeah.
You can't excel at everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is brand new information.
Yeah. No, and it truly feels like that. The first time you realize that, you're like,
yeah, what do you mean we don't have to just excel?
And then for a while you feel like a traitor for not putting in 100% in your like day job situations.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
yeah, we're only one person.
You got to choose what you really put your energy into.
Yeah, really. Okay, what work, achievement, or milestone are you most proud of?
A Man Called Paris last year.
Yeah.
And before that, my biggest milestone, I think, was getting cast as Romeo in English in the US straight out of school.
That's amazing.
Like, that was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But now, absolutely, A Man Called Paris.
And you should be. It is amazing.
Because it is also because I have produced original work before, and I've always been like, this is a little cringe. And A Man Called Paris, from the first time I read it, I laughed, and I was laying in my bed. And I was laughing, but I'm Swedish. I don't laugh at myself. I don't do that shit. But I was like laying in my bed and I read it and I was like laughing out loud and then I started crying later. So I don't know. I'm definitely like I'm in this 100%.
Yeah.
It's by far the coolest thing I've done.
Love that. Well, I'm so happy that I get to be a teeny tiny part of this at the fundraiser.
Yeah.
And hopefully in some other ways that we will talk about. What is the best part of Nordic Artists of New York for you?
The community, easily. Like, particularly getting to know you and Sonia. You guys are like my sisters.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite thing.
So, funny story to those listeners who do not personally know Max or my sister Sonia. They look like they are twins. They look exactly the same and are very similar people in personality, in just everything. And as soon as I met you, I was like, you have to meet my sister. And I remember that your first friendship date was like, 8 hours or something.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you just couldn't get enough of each other. And I was like,
and it was also that we didn't know what we were going to do because we were supposed to like put on a performance together for the True North.
Right.
And we like, I don't know. I wanted to do Shakespeare. She wanted to do like musical theater.
And you did both.
Yeah, we did. And it was also crazy because she brought out Dust in Ashes from The Great Comet.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm not a musical theater guy. I know like Les Mis and Phantom are like the basic ones.
Yeah.
And like people don't know The Comet like that well.
Yeah.
And I only know that one song. And that's the song she brings.
Fate.
Yeah, it truly was. It truly was.
What is something you wish you knew before moving to New York?
But maybe how expensive it was going to be. That's a big thing. Also, it's not that deep. Sort of like it's gonna change your life, but it's not gonna change your life in the way you think. It's just a city. Maybe save up a little bit more. Yeah. But like I don't know. Maybe maybe I wish I knew some more American sayings. I should have watched more American pop culture.
Yeah.
But I still haven't. So like,
you're still doing fine.
Yeah.
Very good. And last one. What is a favorite quote, poem, or lyric that you sort of carry with you?
Come what may, time and the hour run through the roughest day.
And this is Max Johnsson for you. Thank you so much, Max, for this hour. And I'm so excited to see A Man Called Paris, first of all, to see it again and to be part of it in the small way and to have you in the community and just follow all the incredible things that you put out there in the world. Max, thank you so much. It was really fun to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me, Petra. This has been lovely. It's been so much fun.
Yay!
Yay!
We did it!
Yay!
Kiitos, tack, aita, paldies, and ačiū for listening to the True North podcast by Nordic Artists of New York. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please make sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Music and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss the next episode. In the meantime, you can follow our community on Instagram and Facebook at Nordic Artists of New York and learn more about our grassroots mission and our incredible roster of artists at nordicartistsofnewyork.com, where you can also sign up for our monthly newsletter of Nordic and Baltic art events in New York. This podcast is produced by me, Petra Jasmina, with the amazing Kristi Rosma and supported by Finlandia Foundation National and Petrified Productions. The theme music is by the wonderful Finnish singer-songwriter and composer Eeppi Ursin. You can hear more of her music via eeppiursin.com or on your favorite streaming platform. Thank you for being with us on this journey to True North. See you next time!